So hello to all my friends across the Vietnamese Web3 space. So I'm Jason Daly, and you've been in crypto in Vietnam. You probably come across my work before, right? So from the early days, I've been educating, connecting, and selling directly from the builders who actually set in Web3. So this AMA stories I'm in my way to cutting through the noise. It's not just about the trends or the tokens. It's about sitting down with the founders, the core computers, and product people, the one in the arena. So we are already had the CEO of my network, backed by Easy Labs, head of global of the Bloomton ecosystem, and today we go even deeper. My guest is Kony, the CEO and the co-founder of GAIB, one of the most ambitious projects at the intersection of AI and DeFi. And my goal today is simple: have the Vietnamese cryptocurrencies understand about the guy and how we can be early in the AI-powered finance future. We also be doing a giveaway. 5 people with the best question or most activities interaction with will receive $500,000 Vietnam dong each. So let's dive in. Okay, Mr. Kony, welcome to my AMA story. And let's start simple. Can you tell us about a bit about yourself and inspire you to create a GAIB?
Sure.
Please.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks for having me. GN, our Vietnam community members, also crypto enthusiasts here. So Kony here, CEO of GAIB. A little bit background about myself. Used to be in traditional finance, doing all the different things like credit research, equity research, and private equity, and then joined the industry at a crypto exchange as an M&A team, focused on channel expansion. And then afterwards was an investor at a crypto VC fund based out of SF and Hong Kong, where we invest into the deep infrastructure projects in crypto space, including like Eigenlayer, Babylon, these like deep infrastructure projects. And then I'm actually a big AI fan, so I've been following with all the AI updates from the very beginning of like ChatGPT moment, and even before that. So I've been keeping a closer eye on what could be done in the AI space and crypto crossover. So it was around Q3, Q4 2023, I studied the whole space about crypto and AI, where there were quite some companies trying to leverage blockchain for different kind of things. For example, data, model, decentralized compute, applications. But there's something missing in the market, which is there's nobody was working on the finance perspective here, which intrigues me because of my own background, also because of the usual way. If you look at every market, every like asset class, there's always a finance company that's the service them. For example, if you look at the car industry, there's car leasing companies servicing them. The aircraft industry, there's aircraft leasing companies servicing them. And also, if you look at GE, right? So who make motors and also cars, they have GE Capital. So finance is actually a very key thing. And when I look at the AI industry, there's no company doing this, not only one Web3, but only a few that does it in Web2. So that triggers me, and I share my idea with my co-founder, who comes from a more AI and semiconductor background. So his family runs Realtek, which is a top 7 global chip maker, and he himself also has a cloud company. So I shared the idea with him, and then he was like, yeah, we should do this together. So that was Q1 last year, which gave birth to the idea of GAIB. GAIB actually means 3 things. It's the acronym for 3 things. Other than taking inspiration from Dune, like who are Dune fans here, you can immediately recognize our references. It means 3 things: GPU, AI, blockchain, or bond, where we focus on the financialization perspective of the AI industry. So what we do is actually very simple. We want to, number one, create a market for AI assets, which is now does not exist, and also create a new type of yielding asset based on actual yield of all these AI assets. Bring it to crypto, bring the actual yield to crypto, and allow people to invest into it. Because right now, if you look at the market, if you want to invest into AI, the only way they can do so is by buying all these like semiconductor stocks like Nvidia. But there's no direct, this is indirect investment. What if you want to invest in the AI infrastructure, these GPU assets, which are the core component for the whole AI industry these days. You have no way to do so. So that's why we founded GAIB to break down these areas, open a new market, and creating access to these asset class. So that's the whole story why we started, and a little bit more information about our vision here.
Cool. Thank you so much, Connie. So let's dive in AID. Yeah, let's talk about AID. So what makes it different from the USDT?
Yeah, so you mentioned about AID, so I'll give more background to the community here. So AID means like AI synthetic dollar or synthetic asset. So it is a yield-bearing asset that we want to introduce to the market. And what it does is, as I mentioned earlier, there's no way for people to invest into the GPU asset class or the AI infrastructure assets. We want to give it to people. So AID serves as a portfolio or ETF for all these tokenized GPU deals below. So we tokenize the GPUs, they generate yields, bring it to AID. So any AID holders, they're essentially having a portfolio of different tokenized GPU deals, giving them yield, generating yield for them. So if you hold AID, it is number one, yield bearing, which USDT is not. The second thing is we hope to use it in DeFi, and you also have a blended exposure to all these different AI assets, and not only in Web3 but also in Web2. So that's the core difference. And then what's interesting here is we're providing AI yield to the market, which does not exist so far. If you look at all these different types of relative synthetic asset, there's no asset right now that's providing actual AI yield. And what do you mean by AI yield? It means that if you, let me break it down for you. So in the AI industry, right now, how does the supply chain look like? I would describe that as a smile curve, meaning the value captured in this industry are either by the left and the right-hand side. On the right-hand side, we have all these different types of AI application companies. For example, Midjourney, for example, DeepSeek and DeepSeek related application companies, your maybe smart assistant there. And then on the left-hand side, these are the infrastructure. They are the cloud companies, GPUs, farms, and also data centers will give you the needed computation power for all these applications to run. And if you look at the whole value capture, like how much money these companies make right now, the AI infrastructure companies makes tons of money. They capture most of the value in the supply chain. And that's where we focus on, where GAIB focus on, is actually to bring people a way to invest in this AI infrastructure industry. And it's very simple. People, on the other hand, using these GPUs to make the model, to use the AI model, run the AI model, host the services for the end clients, they pay for them, right? And then if we at GAIB, we're allowing people to invest into this asset class being used by other people. So they're actually generating real yield, real asset in the real world. So that's why we bring this on-chain by financializing the yield and also the asset to make it on-chain here. So that's why we're introducing the AI yield. But we don't stop there. So bringing these assets on-chain is only first step. We aim to build a vibrant economy out of that using the DeFi ecosystem that blockchain has long been, a great history on.
Cool. Thank you so much. So one thing that everybody here listening your information about GAIB, and also me also. So we focus about a review via GPU finance. So can you explain that model to our audience, please?
Yeah. Let me break it down, like following the previous example that I mentioned. So for example, these days, for a cloud company, so how did they use GAIB? So right now, just give an example. A cloud company, they have the GPUs, they have a client, but then now they want to expand, right? So what do? They need capital. So what are the ways for these cloud companies to get capital? Well, there are mainly three ways. One, your own profit, your own revenue, meaning you're so rich enough that you don't need other help. You can get a capital by yourself. The second way is to raise money through equity financing, meaning VCs, PEs, or angel investors, all these people give you money now by selling your stock, right? And then the third way is by private lending or private credit, meaning you borrow money from different types of people: banks, private credit, family offices, institutions, anything like it. For most of the cloud company these days, it's actually very hard for them to get like financing, because number one, GPU is a new asset. A lot of these traditional finance institutions are slow to adapt to it and slow to understand the business model. So in order to underwrite all these different types of deals, and only a small portion of these cloud companies can actually get access to the capital. These are super big guys, the 20-30 billion dollars company like Kony, Lambda, those people. But for the smaller ones, like middle-sized, smaller cloud companies, which are up and rising, they're finding it hard to get the capital. That's where GAIB is coming in. We're providing them, bridging them with the necessary capital as additional funding channel. So they will come to GAIB, and then now they have the GPU, they have client. They will stake the GPU with us as collateral. And then GAIB will, of course, do the full due diligence, full like risk control framework analysis, everything like it, to make sure the one they actually have the GPUs. They're not like faking something for us. And the second thing is they actually have the cash flow in order to get the money. That's why afterwards, what we will do is we'll financialize and tokenize these like GPUs and the cash flow to bring on-chain. And now you and I, or the other like investors who's interested to buy these like AI assets, can directly buy on our website, on GAIB's website, so that you can hold the asset for yield, or you can also be using these types of asset for other DeFi use cases that I mentioned earlier. And that's the way how it works for bringing the actual AI yield from the actual paying customers at the end user there on chain.
Okay, got you. So we all have the TPO, right? So what does it mean to tokenize the TPOs? And what do those tokens interact with the DeFi?
Yep. So for the GPU, what do you mean by tokenizing it is that, as I mentioned earlier, it's like we are packaging these like cash flow, the money that these GPUs make, into a fungible token for people to like buy it, invest, and hold, and to bring it on chain, right? And then the yield that come from, as I mentioned earlier. So after you have these like tokenized GPUs, token there, even AI dollar, you can use it in the DeFi. For example, you can use it as collateral to borrow money on DeFi, to do lending, to borrowing. You can also use it in all the money markets there, right? And the second thing is we have like different utilities that they can build on. For example, we can have structured products like PT and YT. We can have options and futures for people who trade and hedge. So the whole goal is we want to provide a variety of products that suit different types of people's needs, different types of people's risks, in order for them to play around, right? So if you want to get high yield, you can go trade YT. If you want to just hold to get a stable yield, just hold the token there. So that's our vision. That's our vision. Like bringing the asset on chain and then build a vibrant economy onto it using the DeFi. Yeah.